Hello, welcome to another episode of Megan Chitwood Live, powered by BNI. This is our spring break edition, hence the naked face, and want to share with you in our referral process that we've been talking about. Today, we're going to go through the last two steps, which is analyze and thank your referral sources. So let's get started. And as you know, you can catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and you can also and LinkedIn Live. And you can also catch the recording on Instagram as well as all of the channels. So we've talked about the 7 steps of the referral process. So we're going to pick up on 6 and 7. 6, if you know me, you know this probably is my favorite. So I'm an engineer by background, and I love looking at things and seeing how I can make them better. I love looking at how people are working together and say, how can we work together better? And step 6, after you've passed the referral and you've set the whole thing up, 6 is sort of after the fact, what are we doing to analyze and continue to help move the referral forward? Now, this I think is the most missed opportunity for people, because they think once the referral's passed, it's done, it's finished, that's it, that everyone's part's done. But it's not. When we are in the analyze phase, we can look at it and say, so I've got a referral all set up. I get the referral. Everyone has explained to me exactly where we are in the referral process. Let's say I call the referral up and say, hi, this is Megan. You talk to so-and-so, and this is, I would like to get a meeting with you. And what if they say, I don't like, who is this again? Who is this? Or what do you sell again? Right? If I get a response that I'm not expecting, then we need to analyze and go back to the drawing board as a referral team, right? With my referral partner, the person passed it to me, and say, what can we do? What can we do differently? What can we do differently next time? But what can we do today to get this referral back on track as well? Because sometimes it's just a memory thing, right? Sometimes it's the person's so caught up in everything that they're doing, they've just forgotten that they asked for this. And what I said when I called might not have been actually the right thing, right? Or not the wrong thing, but it might not have triggered what it needs to trigger. The other reason why analyzing is so important is sometimes a referral gets off track, or sometimes you start getting ghosted by someone, right? In the referral. And the person who passed you the referral, who has that relationship, you can ask them and say, do you have a strong enough relationship with that person to talk to them a little bit more and see if we can get this back on track? So the person who passes you the referral can be very, very helpful during that process too, just checking in as we're going through the rest of the sales process to turn the referral into actual dollars. Okay. So let me give you some exact examples of this. All right. So let's say, one of my referrals is getting ready to buy a car, right? They're getting ready to buy a car, and you sell cars. Okay. And so I have passed you the referral to my mom, who's getting ready to buy a car. So I've talked to her and I said, hey, how is this? Are you ready to buy? Is this settled? All this kind of stuff. And she says, yes. And then you call her and she says, oh, well, I'm not real sure. Next call should be back to me and saying, your mom's saying you're not sure. I'm hearing from you, she is sure. What should we do next? Right? Because I can clearly help with that by going back and saying, hey, mom, listen, this is a person I know. This is a person I know. And so you said you were ready for me, but you're saying that you're not ready to them. Like, what's going on? Right? So this actually happened to me. My mom and dad were needed to get some work done on their house. And it was a pretty big job. And so I brought in a referral to a BNI member. Now, my mom and dad then said to me, hey, Megan, I feel like we need to get some additional bids for this. And I said, okay, great. Yeah, absolutely do that, because it's the right thing for them to do, to not just necessarily trust mine, but to also verify. They loved the person that I referred to them. However, they found someone who was local, a little more local, who could do it faster. So it was really great because my dad understood the referral process, or the relationship process at least. And he calls me up and says, "Hey, Meg, we found someone who can do it. They can literally start next week." And I said, "Well, Mom, Dad, if they can start next week, be sure that they know, like double check that they know what they're doing, because every contractor I know is covered up. And if they're available, these are the other things that I would want you to check out." They did check those things out and everything was fine. The reason why he was available was because he only marketed in a small town and I was bringing in somebody from Birmingham. So that's why the person was available. And so my dad said, is that okay? Like, how would you also like me to tell the person that you referred? And I said, "Hey, listen, he'll totally understand if you need to get something done faster. If he needs to get something done faster and he knows that's the deciding factor for you, he can choose whether he can move the schedule around or not." And so everything ended up working out because we were working together on making sure that the whole thing ended up working out. Okay, makes sense? So other things. Now this one's going back like 15 years, but there were several times when people weren't very well educated on what the person did before they referred them. And so they were actually referring them things that they did not do. Okay. So, an example of that would be travel. Going, like, having a travel agent book a flight for you only is not really the best use of their time, or even a printer, right? Business cards only is not the best use for their time. So if somebody just wants a few business cards, that printer might come back to you and say, "Listen, next time, ask them if they need what kind of business they're in, because if they only want business cards, I actually lose money on business cards, but business cards is the entry point to getting more business." So if you can ask the question of what other forms do you use, what other signage do you use, all those kinds of things, then that can help me understand if they're going to be a really great referral. I don't mind doing the business cards, but the way that the referral goes really, really well for me is if that's my lead in, and then I can ultimately do more business with them later. Those kinds of conversations really need to happen, because that means I'm getting better and better and better at referring you by understanding how I did within the referral process and moving forward. This also applies if I completely get it wrong. If I completely get it wrong and it's a terrible referral and it's one that you do not want to have, that also is helpful for me because my intentions are good. Generally speaking, across the board, a BNI member's intentions are good. They don't want to give you a crappy referral. So because their intentions are good, you can go back to them and say, "Hey, listen, let me educate you a little bit more. I didn't educate you enough on what I do or how I do it. Let me educate you a little bit more. So the next time you pass me a referral, it'll be a great one." That should be a conversation we can easily have with one another without worrying about it too much, because we all want to really help. And honestly, the only reason why I missed the mark is because I didn't know, not because I intentionally missed the mark, right? So talking to each other about all of those things is very, it's very helpful. The other thing I want to encourage you to do is we talked about the different levels of referrals. The different levels of referrals is also interesting when it comes to analyzing, because if, let's say I have a very, like, let's say you just met somebody at a chamber event, right? And they were saying that they needed some service. And I said, "Oh, I've got somebody who can help you with that service." When somebody else comes back and analyzes that with me, I'm going to say, "Listen, I don't know enough about this person I don't know enough about this person. I could only get this to a level 2 because that's how much I know that person to get them to a level 2. Example, if I'm at a chamber event, I am not, and somebody says something that makes me think they need a financial advisor, I'm not going to jump into, "Oh, do you have a 401k?" I'm not going to jump into all those things because I just met the person. I'm going to say, "Oh, it sounds like you could use a financial advisor. Are you interested in talking to someone?" "Yes." "Okay, here's why I think this person is the best person for you to talk to." When you come back, and in fact, I'll use an example for my husband. So the type of financial advisor my husband needs is someone who is unbelievably thorough and can explain every single detail. Well, I know that about him. So I can tell you about him, right? When I go to a chamber event, I don't know that about this person. So I can't tell if this person is a great fit for you because I don't know them well enough to know that they're a great fit for you. So that's just in those levels. I would not be able to do a level 5 referral and say, hey, let me take you to lunch with so and so and let's all talk. Because I don't like we just met. That would seem a little bit weird. So the other thing is thinking about what level of referral you ultimately want and educating people on that as well. And then also understanding that depending on the relationship I have with the person I'm referring will depend on how far I can make that referral as well in that 1 to 5 scale, in that ultimate 1 to 5 scale. Okay. I'm going to do a quick touch on thank yous, and then we're going to do a deeper dive into that next week. The last step, thanking people. It's really key and important that you thank people for their referrals. It makes you fun to refer to. So you need, in order to be fun to refer to, having a thanking plan is really, really important. If I don't feel appreciated about passing referrals to you, then I could actually stop because 1, it's not fun, and 2, I don't feel appreciated for it. So we're going to do a deeper dive onto what are some of the ideas you can have for thanking your referral sources. And if you've got people who are consistently passing you referrals and making you a lot of money, we will talk about how to take that thank you program beyond a thank you note or a thank you sincerely and take that to a whole new level so that they want to continue to pass you referrals on a constant basis. All right, so next week, we're going to talk about all the thank yous and all of the different ways you can do thank yous as well. And so catch us next week. Thanks so much for watching.